The Bible contains profound, often overlooked teachings about the power of consciousness and manifestation, teachings that align closely with discoveries in modern science. These insights reveal that we have the ability to influence our reality and manifest our desires, if we understand and apply them. This exploration will break down three key biblical principles that, when put into practice, can completely transform your life. One of the most insightful passages on this journey is found in Romans 12, verse 2, where St. Paul urges us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." He promises that by doing this, you will not only understand but also experience God's perfect will for your life, bringing forth outcomes that are good, pleasing, and fulfilling. But the first step to creating a life of abundance and blessings, as Paul points out, is to avoid being confined by the patterns of this world. But what does the pattern of this world really mean? It refers to the limiting beliefs and perceptions we accept as truth within the physical reality we inhabit. This pattern is often compared to what some call the Matrix, the idea that we are trapped within certain physical limits that we have come to believe are absolute truths. These external factors, such as societal expectations, economic structures, or personal fears, shape our beliefs and define what we think is possible. Over time, these beliefs can trap us, preventing us from tapping into our highest potential. Yet Paul urges us to break free from these constraints by transforming our minds. Transformation, in this sense, is about shifting our consciousness, rising above the physical limits of this world, and renewing our minds to align with a higher truth. To create the life we desire, we must first change the way we think. Now, let's dig deeper into this transformation. One key aspect is to ask yourself, are you worshiping things, or are you connected to the spirit behind them? The Bible's call to manifestation invites us to shift our focus from physical things and material desires to the infinite power behind them, the divine force of creation. True power doesn't reside in the physical object itself, but in the creative energy that manifests it. This is God, or consciousness itself, the ultimate life force that sustains the universe. It's a force of pure, limitless potential, a consciousness that underpins all things. We often fixate on specific desires, thinking we need that job, that relationship, or that wealth. But in doing so, we unintentionally place our faith in the object, not in the spirit that created it. To truly transform your life, you must move beyond the form, the physical object, and connect to the spirit that brought it into being. This is the essence of transformation, shifting your consciousness from worshiping things to connecting with the divine energy behind those things. Another powerful biblical teaching comes from John 5:30, where Jesus says, "I can of my own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just because I seek not my own will, but the will of the Father who sent me." In this passage, Jesus is inviting us to recognize that when we focus solely on ourselves and our abilities, we limit our potential. But when we align ourselves with a higher purpose, a divine will, we transcend those limitations. The desires for success, love, financial security, these are not just personal wants. These desires are divine impulses flowing through us. They are expressions of God, of spirit, manifesting through us in the physical world. This understanding calls us to go beyond the ego, the I want or I need, and see these desires as part of a larger divine purpose. In fact, the word desire comes from the Latin meaning of the Father, which reveals that every longing you have is a whisper from God, urging you to step into your true potential and express those desires in the physical realm. When we stop worshiping the material objects we think we need and instead connect with the divine energy behind them, we open ourselves up to the true power that allows manifestation to flow effortlessly. This awareness changes everything. No longer are we trapped in a state of lack or limitation. Instead, we tap into an abundant source, no longer confined by earthly expectations or physical constraints. Our path opens up to new possibilities, not driven by personal struggle, but fueled by divine power. The final point in this transformation process is this: are you focused on things, or are you aligned with the energy that creates them? When it comes to achieving a debt-free life, we know the solution goes beyond traditional financial strategies. It requires building something deeper, a covenant with God, a sacred pact that aligns your financial journey with divine guidance. This spiritual partnership offers a secure path to eliminating debt and unlocking your true financial potential. If you feel like you've tried everything and nothing seems to work, it may be because you're missing this crucial piece, a covenant with God. Aligning your finances with divine principles doesn't just transform your bank account. It transforms your entire spiritual life. That's where the financial covenant comes in. This isn't just a quick fix. It's an opportunity to create a lasting commitment with God that will release your financial potential and eliminate debt once and for all. Even if your finances feel tight right now, taking this step of faith could be the first of many that will lead to new prosperity. Remember, even the smallest seed planted with faith can yield an abundant harvest. So, as we reflect on these teachings, remember, transformation is not about changing circumstances. It's about changing the way we think, align, and act, allowing divine energy to flow through us and manifest all the desires God has placed within us. When we shift our consciousness, the world around us changes. And that is the power of true manifestation. The powerful phrase, "do not be conformed to the pattern of this world," serves as a profound reminder that in order to fully live out our potential, we must transcend the physical limitations and narratives that the world presents to us. We need to rise above our current circumstances, letting go of the false those shaped by past struggles, challenges, and doubts. Hebrews 11 verse 3 teaches us that the universe was created by faith through God's command. What we see in the physical realm was made from something invisible. This profound truth is telling us that the physical world is just a reflection of a deeper, energetic, invisible reality. The material world is not the source of its own existence. It all stems from the unseen power of God. By aligning with this invisible realm, we tap into a wellspring of creative energy, which can transform our lives and manifest our deepest desires. When we understand that everything is possible through this divine, limitless source, we stop being trapped in a cycle of desire and lack. Instead, we enter in a partnership with a force that knows no boundaries. This partnership elevates our mindset, freeing us from the limitations that once held us back and enabling us to manifest our true desires without resistance. Hebrews 11 verse 3 emphasizes that the physical world was not made from what we see. It came from a higher energy, something unseen. This insight is now being supported by science, which shows that matter is not solid but composed of energy fields. When we grasp this truth, we begin to understand that everything we wish to create, manifest, and experience already exists in an energetic form, waiting for us to call it into reality. All that is needed is faith and focused thought to bring it into existence. The second key principle involves transforming the way we think, rising above the world of forms, the material world that surrounds us daily. The world of forms limits our potential by making us believe reality is fixed and unchangeable. But by renewing our minds, we break free from these limits and begin to perceive and create beyond what we see. This shift allows us to align with a higher vision of ourselves and our life, a vision that transcends physical boundaries. Renewing the mind is not passive. It requires intention and focus. To do this, we must align our thoughts and beliefs with our desires, not with the limitations that past experiences or the current world have placed upon us. As we do this, we align our consciousness with the unseen realm, with God, and with the infinite creative power that is abundant and ready to be activated within us. This is how we change our reality, by changing our internal beliefs and perceptions. In Matthew 6:33, Jesus teaches us to seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things will be added to us. The kingdom is not a physical place. It is a state of consciousness, a state of spiritual awareness. When we align our consciousness with the divine, we tap into the infinite source of all creation. This is the essence of manifestation, seeking first to attune our minds and spirits to a higher state of being, focusing on the divine rather than on material things. When we do this, everything else naturally follows because we are tapping into the unlimited source of all that is. The third principle is understanding the power of faith and persistence in manifestation. Faith is not simply wishing for something to happen. It's believing with certainty that what you desire is already on its way to you. Mark 11, verse 24 reminds us, "Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." This teaching challenges us to act as though our desires are already here, aligning our energy and frequency with what we want to manifest. But faith isn't a one-time act. It requires persistence, especially when the physical world doesn't yet show the evidence of our desires. The persistence to keep believing, regardless of circumstances, strengthens our connection to the divine, allowing us to remain in alignment with the things we want to manifest. Faith, as seen through the miracles of Jesus, is the catalyst for transformation. It serves as the bridge between the spiritual realm, where all things are possible, and the physical realm, where those things become visible. By maintaining faith, even when the evidence isn't there, we allow the invisible to become visible and bring into our world what has already been promised in the Spirit. In conclusion, the Bible's teachings on manifestation and consciousness urge us to look beyond the physical world and align with a higher spiritual consciousness. This connection with the Creator reveals that our desires are not just personal wishes, but expressions of divine intention seeking to manifest through us. When we release the need to control every detail and instead trust in this divine process, focusing on the spiritual essence rather than the material form, we open ourselves to limitless possibilities. Remember the three key principles of manifestation. The path to manifesting your highest desires begins with understanding and embracing spiritual truths. First, it's essential to shift your focus away from the material world and aim for a higher state of consciousness, one that connects you with the divine. The key here is unwavering faith. It's not enough to simply desire. You must act as though what you seek is already yours. When you align yourself with this spiritual truth, blending ancient wisdom with modern principles of consciousness, you position yourself as a co-creator with the divine. You become empowered to shape a life that resonates with your highest purpose and deepest desires. Through this process, you'll find not only the fulfillment of your wishes, but also a profound connection to the divine, realizing that you are never alone in your creative power. Overcoming challenges like debt requires more than just good intentions. It requires true commitment. By forming a financial pact with God, you are making an act of faith and aligning your actions with a higher purpose. This connection transforms your financial life and frees you from the burden of debt. As you've seen throughout this message, connecting spiritually with God can radically shift your financial reality. If you're looking to take the next step towards financial freedom, now is the time to act. The principles of sowing and reaping remind us that even small, seemingly sacrificial acts today can lead to abundant results tomorrow. Albert Einstein once noted that particles cannot create other particles, a concept echoed in Scripture. The Bible teaches us that what we see in the physical world was not made from visible things. This reinforces the truth that the material world doesn't create itself. Instead, it's rooted in infinite energy and consciousness, which manifests at different vibrational frequencies. Recognizing this allows us to detach from the limitations of the physical realm, inviting God's will into our lives. God's will is perfect and abundant. It brings peace, prosperity, and joy. When we align with this divine energy, we invite financial abundance into our lives. Our needs are met, our bills are paid, and we experience true prosperity. Fulfilling God's will also means living out your purpose. This is how we glorify God. And in doing so, we tap into a powerful energy that radiates outward to those around us, benefiting friends, family, and community. Achieving this peace and fulfillment is available to everyone, but it requires letting go of old beliefs and limiting ideas about ourselves. Let go of the ego, the part of you that believes in separation from the divine. The ego often tells us we are alone, independent, and can act apart from God. But in truth, we are all made from the same spiritual essence. As author James T. Mahan put it, the ego is the part of us that edges God out. It's the belief that we exist independently, but we are all connected to an infinite source of divine energy. To manifest a life aligned with divine purpose is to manifest God's power in our lives. Success, health, family, and prosperity reflect the divine power from which we are all made. Science shows that we have about 65,000 thoughts per day, and most of them are subconscious, 70% negative or repetitive. This shows the importance of reprogramming our subconscious mind and breaking free from the limiting beliefs of the ego. On this journey, we must allow ourselves to serve as instruments of God's will, embodying perfection and miracles. As Jesus taught, you cannot serve two masters. You cannot live by the ego and spirit at the same time. The ego keeps you bound to the physical world, while the spirit connects you to infinite abundance and potential. When we are attached to material wealth and possessions, we restrict ourselves and lose sight of what we are truly capable of. By letting go of the physical limitations and embracing spiritual abundance, we open ourselves to the fullness of life that God has in store for us.